Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Pondering Mage. So as you can see from the title, in this episode I'm going to be talking about a little bit of pondering I did about NotebookLM. So just to back it up a little bit, how I ended up going down this rabbit hole, or what things I suppose conspired for this to happen. So what had originally occurred was I've been noticing, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, that there have been a number of podcasts appearing which have these two voices. They always sound the same, and clearly, although the voices sound very good, they are created through AI. And I'd also noticed, as I was using, I think, was it Google Gemini quite a bit, when you were doing stuff in Google Gemini, there was an option to create an audio overview. And I'd noticed that there was a similarity between the sort of two voice back and forward chat that the audio overview produced and these podcasts. And I hadn't really connected the dots at that point, because I've been existing, as you can see by the sort of tiny experiments I've been doing, but I've been existing in this sort of world between Google Gemini and Llama. And then more recently, but specifically the Google Gemini API, that's the key thing. I hadn't been going into Google Studio that much. And then what happened was I'd sort of rationalized my generative AI use down to really Google AI Studio, Google Gemini, Claude, DeepSeek, and Copilot, all of the free tiers for these. And particularly recently, I've been playing with these three, with Claude, DeepSeek, and Copilot in particular, because of the presence of, or the introduction of, was it GPT-5 and a few other things. And so because I was doing more of that, I'd sort of lost track, so to speak, of what was going on Google Gemini, what was going on Google AI Studio, and not doing what my original plan was to do, was to dig a bit deeper. So anyway, this morning I was doing my usual sort of morning pondering, deciding what to sort of think about, and my usual flourishing habit, which I've mentioned in previous episodes. And I was going through and just randomly looking to see what podcasts had downloaded to my sort of podcast feed and I hadn't got round to listening to. And in the course of doing that, I did a few searches for some content, and I stumbled across what looked to be a really interesting podcast. And when I fired it up, it was the same sort of two voices that I recognised from before. So when I looked in the description, it had that it was produced by NotebookLM. So some further digging around made me realise that I'd been completely blindsided. I hadn't even become aware of this, even though it's been out for a while and was very well received when it came out. And also, I think now, the Google DeepMind podcast with, was it Hannah Fry, had a few episodes on it, which I, for some reason, must have missed, or maybe I put it on play and slept through it. Who knows? But anyway, so I thought, well, let's do a NotebookLM pondering, some pondering this morning. And this is the result of that pondering. And what we'll do, at the end of this, I sort of created a roadmap stroke. I'm trying to remember what it called. Lab book, notebook. I can't remember what it ended up coming up with, but no doubt we'll see in a moment. And we'll go through and we'll walk through some of the exercises that it came up with. and yeah, I've got this ready to go. I haven't done anything in this yet. I'm going in completely blind, which is going to be interesting. All I did was just log in with my usual experimental account, which I log in my other stuff with. And so yeah, we're ready to go. I'll include links to the Google NotebookLM website. And what's interesting as well is that when I started doing this, I thought, well, rather than do this actually in Google Gemini and do my pondering, my brainstorming in there, I'll actually do it in Copilot using the GPT, well, the deep research version, and then I sort of switched over later on. So first thing I did was just got it to create me an overview of NotebookLM, so doing a deep research, and that is what it created. So as always, I tend to start off with a bit of deep research, and then I start sort of picking away at it and taking it in various directions. So I produced a very nice report. And so on and so forth. And some comparisons here. No doubt I'll have to have a look at those as well. Okay, so for my first thing is to do the obvious, which is can you create 10 tiny experiments in Google NotebookLM? So I did that. And get 10 tiny experiments. So that gave me an idea and saved me having to read through here of the sort of things that it might be capable of doing. And I ran through this morning with no sort of real prior knowledge. I actually ended up doing this and then listening to the podcast episode afterwards. And then when I went out for a walk, I listened to a different podcast episode. So I've got a bit of a better understanding of what it can do. But all of this stuff I did before I had that understanding, which is making it pretty interesting, actually. And then when I came back, I've started recording this video. So there's the tiny experiments. And then it sort of teased me with this, oh, do you want me to design you a step-by-step NotebookLM experiment kit? So yeah, prepare the kit. So here's the kit that it prepared. So I thought, well, let's try applying it to something I'm doing at the moment, which is learning Zig. Because I was thinking, well, what do I want to use Notebook for? So I think, well, why don't I use it, I create a notebook for learning Zig and then see where that takes me. And at that point, that's when I decided, yeah, I should probably record a video about this sort of process. So 10 tiny NotebookLM experiments for learning Zig. And there they are. Asked it to prepare the kit again. We've got some code snippets now coming in. And then I thought, well, let's ask it about some newer features in NotebookLM. So apparently video overviews, audio overviews, dedicated mobile apps, which, yeah, I did actually download the app, didn't do anything with it. Deep research integration. So this all sounded all fine and dandy. Remember, I hadn't even gone anywhere near the website yet. And I asked it to prepare a test plan to try some of this stuff out. There's my test plan. Yes, please, I would like a log sheet. So can you create a new features kit? So again, this sort of kit that it had created before, but for new feature, this time around new features. And combine it into a playbook for me. there we now have the playbook. We're still in Microsoft Copilot at the moment, just fleshing this out. Test log scoring table. And then can you combine everything we have discussed so far into a single playbook? So here we go. Now at this point it started getting very interesting because you can see it started labeling these up, things like mission and features. So in Copilot, and I often use Copilot for brainstorming and then move over to one of the other models to sort of execute some of the ideas, just to mix it up a bit. But it started labeling these up with numbers. And in a moment you'll see what happens is, so we've got the Zig learning experiments and then the new features experiments. And then we get this sort of handy dandy test log scoring table. Asked it to do a quick start because it had suggested that it wanted to do a quick start. Cheat sheet. And then I was thinking, well, that's all fine, but what's actually available on the free plan? Because I think there's two plans here. There's a free and then there's a paid for one. So it gave me a breakdown from its point of view what it thinks is on the free plan. So again, remember I'm doing this all through brainstorming through Microsoft Copilot. And there's our plus feature. Can you create a playbook specifically tailored to features and usage limits? Because that could be another problem, is there could be usage limits on the free one. So there could be a restriction on the features, and there could be a restriction based on the limits on features. So the features there, you just can only use so much of it. Core capabilities that you can use freely. So this is where it started utilizing its previous Z numbers and N numbers, or Z code and N codes. Can you give me a detailed workbook for this? So it starts giving me this interesting workbook where it's sort of showing the mapping here of the various missions. Here, the Zig missions and the notebook feature missions. Can you create a step-by-step version of this? Which it's got there. To walk you through this. And then I found that I was getting all these separate, bits that were evolving. So usually when I'm brainstorming something like this, I'll try and consolidate my pondering. So can you show me how these steps relate to the sources I uploaded? Wonder why I said that. I don't remember uploading any sources. That's interesting. Anyway. Wonder where that came from. That must have thrown it on a bit of a curveball. It was early in the morning. Where are we? Interesting. I don't remember loading these up, so I'm not sure what's happening. But it's interesting nonetheless. So if I did, I've forgotten, which is funny. Because I don't remember, there's nothing here. I don't seem to remember adding anything in. Oh, I wonder. Yeah, maybe. Oh, I bet I know what it thinks I'm referring to. Something earlier. I wonder what made me think to use that. That's interesting. Anyway, I can't tell if that's a typo or some sort of pondering haze. Anyway, nonetheless, it made the assumption, I suppose, I was talking about the sort of resources that it was referring to, like a tutorial, a program, Buggy snippet, Python snippet. And then it was saying to me, do you want to reorganize them into theme notebooks? So I said, yeah, can you reorganize? So we have themed notebooks now. It's very simple, sort of referencing back what's been before. And then, daily roadmap will be good. So this is where I am now, the daily roadmap. So this is at a point where I'm thinking, I can use this to do the experiments or do the So we'll run through and see where this takes us. So we're going to need to dig out some resources. It thinks I have, which I don't. So what we'll do first of all, let's find a Zig tutorial somewhere. Let me just do this off screen and then I'll show you what I've got so we don't get too Zig tutorial PDF. I think I saw one earlier. All that'll do. Yep, so this looks interesting. This is just for experimental purposes. I don't know when this was created. But we'll have a play around with that just to see how it handles this really. This is really sort of just a test. So we need to create a notebook called Zig Fundamentals, which it looks like we're going to be reusing here. So we'll do that. And okay. Oh, there's our upload our resources. Okay. So we've got Google Drive stuff, links, and pasting text in. Interesting. So I have, let me just bring this up over this side in my downloads. That document. So let's do this. Boom. Notebook. There is that. Oh, there we go. Oh. Error uploading. Try again. Interesting. So have we failed at the first hurdle? Let's try again. Let's choose a file from here, just in case it was that. Could be too big. Aha. Okay, so we're in our notebook, and the next thing we need to do, which is on the list, was I'm going to ask it here. So this is where ask it stuff. So let's see if we can do this. Explain comp time. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to create a video overview here. So see if this works. This may take a while. So while it's doing that, let's add in some more resources because I still need, so day 2 code walkthrough and audio modes. We've got audio overview. Apparently there's supposedly brief mode and debate mode. So we'll see what happens. We really are flying by the seat of our pants here. Write a short Zig program. So I need to upload a Zig program from somewhere. Do I have anything to hand? Let's have a look. Just going to take a look at this. I'm doing this off screen so I don't interfere with this, but I just got something I want to have a look at. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Basic arithmetic. And then I think there's one here with the user interface. Let's do the user interface one. Okay. So we're going to add some. Is it going to let me upload code? Let's just see. Let me just see whether there's a. Yeah, we'll give it a go. See what happens. I don't know whether it'll let me do it, but never mind. Experiments. Zig. Yep. So let's. What we'll do. That's interesting. So probably going to have to add in some code here. I'm just trying to think the best way to do this. If I know what I'll do. Let's cheat here. See if it handles this. So what I'm going to do, I'm already pushing it here. I'm going to rename the end of this. I'm actually just going to call this test.txt. Yeah, I don't care if that becomes unstable. There we go. So that's test.txt. Short Zig program. And Let's add that to there. Upload resources. Experiments. Okay. Source guide. Wow, okay. Interesting. So it's already done a summary without me doing anything over here. So what I want to do, I wonder if, just collapse that. Okay. This is interesting. Let me just have just this as a source. Source. Here we go, look. So, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see what's happening here? So, as you click on here, we really are flying by the seat of our pants here. Yeah, this is, I'm sort of switching between the two here. So, whatever I type in here applies to the amount of resources I'm using. Sources. So, just make sure, if you want to ask it a question, you click on the right source. So I'll do explain each line and its purpose, and we'll see how well this does. So we've got a lot going on here. We're still trying to generate our video overview from our first source, but we'll see what happens there. So we've got some code explanation here, and again, you know, you'd have to try this yourself and sort of try and pull it apart. Okay. So can I now see that's doing Zig Fundamentals. Is it going to let me? Let me try this. See if it'll handle this. Make audio in brief mode, then in debate mode. See how it handles this. Okay, so it's not doing that. Interesting. Okay, so we could do, let's just try and stack these. So we can't do it by typing directly, we found that out, but we've got this selected as a source. So let us do generate audio overview. Oh, here we go. See, we have to click on this. So deep dive. Okay. Brief. Interesting, right, now I'm getting it. Okay, so brief, generate, wow, okay, and then I do debate. Interesting. Right, so we can do multiple generations here. Right, cool. So I wonder, I'm assuming we can't bounce out here. See, what I'm wondering is whether, okay, you can. So this is interesting. So let's go in, let's create another notebook while this is going on. So we've got a notebook now called Zig versus Python. I need to add resources. What are my resources going to be? I need to put in a Python snippet. Okay, so let me do that. I'll tell you what I will use. Let's use... We really are going on a journey here, aren't we? Base code. Google Gemini. So again here, yeah, I've got to be careful here. So what I want to do is do all files. Let me just see if it's going to, otherwise I'll just change the file extension if I did like I did last time. What do we got? Google Gemini base functional. Yeah, okay. So it's not happy with that, so I will have to just put it in a form. I could paste it in here, I suppose. But let's just change it to .txt and just yeah, do that. It also accepts Markdown as well, which is interesting. Could be useful because in Markdown you can put Markdown code sections as well, can't you? So that might be an interesting thing to try. Let me just do this off screen for the moment. So that base code I wanted to use. Take a copy of that. And change that. Actually, it's quicker to do it like this, I think. Done, done, done. Drag it in. Okay, so we got test Python. And we've got the one source selected. So yeah, this is important to remember. Okay, Gemini API Python client. It's already summarizing some stuff for me. So let's try this. Rewrite this in Zig and compare syntax. Interesting. So it doesn't know enough. Okay. It's good to see its limitations here. So we can't code directly at this point. It's almost behaving like a sort of RAG would behave. Sources. Chat. Let me try something. This is going to be interesting. So we're going to downloads. See what happens. So I've got both of these documents loaded suppose I could have done this all in the other one, but never mind. And in actual fact, I wanted to call this Zig versus Python, didn't I? Okay, so I don't know how successful this is going to be, but we'll see. So now the difference is we've got both the Python and the Zig tutorial document, which is interesting. Okay, interesting. And obviously we'd have to test this. But you notice the difference there. So without this document, when I asked it the question, it says, it's basically saying I know nothing about Zig. But when I gave it this Zig PDF with instructions about the language, it was able to conceptually create a Zig structure. Interesting. Wow, isn't that interesting? Okay. So my understanding is from what I listened to this morning, after I'd done my brainstorming, is this is very much used as a tool for studying, this NotebookLM, which makes a lot of sense, but it's interesting how it can lock in on this like a rag. I'd be curious in here if you tried to just use it on its own as a like you would use another sort of generative AI system. Okay, so let's try and make a study guide for beginners. And you can see here, these are all the references. Like this. Interesting. Well, I haven't done this in a long while, just literally dive into a program and just literally not read any instructions bar listening to a podcast about it. Okay. Make a study guide for experts. What I will do in the description for this video, I will include a link to my GitHub page, and I'll put in an MD file of the 7-day daily roadmap. Okay. Multimodal summary and refactoring. What's the next one? Let's give it a go, see what happens. Okay, so that's our other guide. Right, let's go back, see where we are with the Zig Fundamentals. Oh. So we have Zig, a pragmatic approach. Okay, so it's like a, you can't hear this actually, I haven't got it switched in, but so it, yeah, it's like, okay, that's how it's done it. So it's basically produced a narrated PowerPoint presentation type thing. Okay, interesting. So, okay, zigging through math. So these are all the audio ones that I produced as well. Yeah, basic arithmetic one. Interesting. Is that, are these, oh, we know about that one. Whoops. What's this? Interactive mode. Oh, there's so much to play around with here. So that's, yeah, there's debate mode and brief mode, and then this full one. But yeah, produce them all. I mean, download them. Cool. Wow. Okay. Right, let's try the multimodal learning lab and see where we get. Okay, create a new notebook. So this is going to be a bit more complicated. I would like to just bypass this screen and go on to the next one, but I'm going to give it, I know what I'll do. So I'm going to do some stuff relating to C, and it's something I prepared earlier. Somewhere on here I have a yet to be released Contrarian encoding news. So let's give that a whirl. So we'll add that. What else do I want to add in? A web page. We add in, oh, there's a link. So let's add in a link. Yeah, let's add in the Wikipedia page. C programming language. Yep. And what was the other thing? What is a web page? Oh, and a PDF. Interesting. Okay, so it's pulled the... So it's done an audio to text already. Wow, okay, that's interesting. So I've got the Wikipedia article, there's 2 sources, and I wanted to upload a PDF as well. So let's just see if I can find a C cheat sheet. Let's do an NCC sheet. Oh, a reference card. There we go. That'll do. So I've just got a C PDF reference card. So let's just add that in. Okay, from our downloads. This thing. Okay. Boom. Right, so all 3 sources are now loaded up, and we're going to summarize all in under 200 words. Okay. Yeah, it will be... So actually we can test this. So if we go... Let's try this. Let's switch off that and then do that. So now there's only one source. And then do that. And then do that. Well, this is okay. Shows you can easily miss stuff like this. There's just so much stuff out there at the moment, isn't there? And we can get an audio overview from here as well if we wanted to. Wow. It's interesting, on the day 5 notes it's got to try a couple of things actually. So it says switch back to the... Did I skip one here? Oh yeah, I must have... Yeah, I missed one actually. There was a Zig debugging and refactoring as well, which was to do with a Buggy Buggy Zig snippet. Snippet. Okay, let's I need... Let me just do this on the fly. This will be fun. So let's do this from here. Go in, new one. Give me an example of some, just so we got something to play around. Some Buggy Zig code. Did I put zip? Oh, Zig. Okay. There we go. Okay. Right, so what we'll do this time around, let's just paste this in instead. Ah, see, oh, there we go. So it puts it over there. That's cool. Okay, so that's consistent. Right, so we've got our bug analysis. Okay, we're going to call that this. Boom. There we go. Find the bug and explain the fix. Just try and experiment here, because if you remember when we tried something in the other bit, yeah, okay, so here we go. This is interesting. So it really locks you in, doesn't it, to a discussion there, conversation history. This is pretty cool, actually, the fact that it does that. Okay, so there were some other things here. Let's ask it to refactor the messy. See if it can do that. Okay, so there's our refactored code. So it does seem to be working within really strict, parameters. But that's cool. This is actually how I would like it to behave if I was learning something. Awesome. Okay, what else do we want to do? Well, let's go back to the multimodal multimodal. Oh, this one I didn't rename it, did I? Oh, I'm all over the map here. So this is our multimodal one, multimodal learning lab. Right. What do I want to do here? Can I see what I can do here? Oh well, look at all those. Let's just ask it to make a video overview. And there's Japanese on the list. Okay, it's this. Yeah, there we go. Nihongo. Okay. There we go. We're generating that. And anything else? Oh yeah, well that's running. There's some other stuff to do here. I'm just looking down the day 7 daily roadmap. Does need a little bit of work because it looks like it wants me to create an additional, oh yeah, tutor and challenge zone. Nothing required. Well, I'll give it a go. Let's just create another one of these. See, this is good. You can see we can have like multiple things running. We're not going to do any. Okay, yeah, so you can just close out of that. That's I should have realised that. Duh. I'm going to just see if you don't put anything in it, what happens. So if we don't have any resources, are we able to... Yes, you can't use chat without a resource. Interesting. So yeah, we do need to give it something. So what I'll do is I will upload that Zig thing, Zig PDF, and it doesn't like that, does it? Doesn't like doing it that way. What is going on? Let's just try again. Because of course it could be problem my system, of course. Could be that the file's quite large. There we go, it's got it now. Okay, so if I now ask it to show minimal, see if it will do this. Oh yeah, okay. Interesting. We really are jumping around here all over the place. There's our multimodal learning lab. Still doing the video. What have we got? Let's try. If I go into audio, is there a critique one? There is. So let's take that off and critique our own contrarian coding news. Okay, yeah. So there is a limit here. So we've now reached our limit. Okay, that's good to know. And that, yeah, I must have, because I did an extra one, didn't I? So that would be why then. Yeah, there was, yeah. So not a lot of room to manoeuvre there. Okay, that's good to know. So yeah, we've reached our audio limit. Don't seem to have really reached our video limit, although we've only done 2 videos. Again, I've just jumped in here and haven't bothered to check any of the limitations. So let's do this then. If I do okay. So I'm going to ask it. I'm going to put on that and say, see if it'll do this. Make 5 multiple choice questions based on this this article. I think this is going to take a while to run. Okay. There we have it. Awesome. We didn't look at the mind map. That could take a while. There was a whole load of other resources we could have added. We could have also pulled in things from Google Docs, Google Slides. I could have... this isn't on the list, why don't I just do this and do, close out of here for the moment and do Flourishing. And let me me just bring up, what can I do? What did we just release on? Okay, let's do the one that I've just released. I don't know how this is going to work out, but we'll see. Get shareable link, add YouTube, paste, insert, Fallen Empires. Okay. I don't know how it's going to work this out, but we'll do it anyway. What cards were used? This will be impressive if, I mean, I can't remember what the exact list of cards were. We'll see, because it was Fallen Empires. So we'd have to watch the video again to check this. Oh, wow. That's just fascinating. Okay. Card mention. Okay, so yeah, it's going by what I said. I really do want to play back in Fortress, still move to crazy. Okay, that's probably me that is having trouble working out what I'm saying. Toxate, talks, yeah, so it's basically, yeah, having some throws. That's amusing. Funny. Yeah, that's not too bad though, is it? How many packs built the deck? What were the pack sizes? Okay. 8. This is creepy. Okay, I think we're going to stop here. Yeah, it's been very entertaining, but there you go. So hopefully you could follow along. I mean, it was a bit confusing, I know, because I literally just dived in and did this, but I wanted to do a video like this. This video is probably closest for me in terms of what I imagine a live stream would be like, I suppose. So it's quite a good test for that in the future if I ever wanted to do live streaming. There's, oh, look at all this. You see, you've got study guide based on your resources. Yeah, I really need to, an FAQ we can generate. Look at all this. A briefing document and a timeline. Wow. And this is purely based on the resources over here. Okay, so this has actually given me a really good overview of this, because I was thinking about using it this week to, like I say, it's to study Zig, but what's interesting is you definitely, looks like you obviously need starting resources, as we saw. If you just go in, unless there's a bit I'm missing here, and maybe there's a way of featuring it, it is all notebook based, and you do need a resource, which is fine because it's a great way of working. Yeah, hence in NotebookLM. So there we have it. Thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.